We have a fun topic today talking about when you're shifting our habits, how can we make them stick, right? That's kind of the harder part that people have an issue with. Sometimes they'll change and not really change that inner identity of who they are becoming, and then they go revert back to their old habits that they used to do. Healthy people aren't usually more motivated than everyone else. A lot of times they build habits, they build routines, and they make the environment around them easier to make healthy choices. So trying to make those things more automatic is priority. And the better you can do that, the healthier you can be. We want to do things that are repeatable and consistent. When we can do that, we can change our future health. Most people don't lose their desire to be healthy. We want to be healthy, right? Just life gets louder. And that's the truth, right? You get busy, you go out of town, stress increases, sleep does its thing, energy drops. All these things can be factors. But when our routines disappear, that's when we fall back on our old habits, right? What requires the least amount of mental effort? And I've talked about and touched about this before, but let's look at some of the science behind it. So nearly 40 to 45% of daily behaviors are habitual. The more we can make something a habit and the less mental energy we have to put towards that something, the more often we're going to do that. Whenever we can perform, with less conscious thought, your brain conserves energy by defaulting to automatic behaviors when you're tired or overwhelmed. When you get stressed, per se, we go back to whatever habit we installed because that takes less mental energy to do that. As we're establishing new habits, we have to have plans in place for what happens when stress happens, what happens when we lose a night's sleep, what happens when we go out to social occasions. So when you have plans set in place, it's less mental effort to do that, right? Instead of how do we get motivated again, ask what's one healthy habit I can return to today? Something I'll ask myself sometimes is what can we do or what can I do today that takes less mental effort tomorrow or take some mental effort off of me tomorrow so I don't have to think about it. Decision fatigue is real. And this is what I was just touching on. Every decision costs mental energy. By dinner time, the day has gone. You've already made hundreds of decisions throughout the day. And then you expect yourself to make a nutritional choice that's healthy for you. So we've all been there. We get to the end of the day. Takeout sounds awesome, right? We don't feel like making dinner. We don't want to do that. And setting a plan and habit in place here is super, super beneficial. What drains you before dinner? What are where to work and work priorities? How can we systematize that? Emails, appointments, family schedules, activities, kids' activities, right? Financial decisions, household tasks, nutrition choices. All of these things are decisions that we're making on a daily basis that take energy to make. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-control and planning, becomes less efficient with repeated cognitive effort. I've always said this too. If you avoid it at the grocery store, you avoid it once. If you buy it and have to look at it, every time you go into that pantry or into that fridge, you have to try to avoid it. That's mental energy that you're spending on that. Reducing unnecessary decisions frees up mental space and energy for what matters most. Coming up with a plan, rotating simple breakfasts, weekly meal prep, proteins and batches, keeping healthy snacks visible and ready, use a weekly meal rotation template, so less deciding, more succeeding. What we like to do is normally on a Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, whenever we get a moment, we like to meal plan for the week. We don't necessarily make stuff early, but we do plan on just what are we going to eat this week? Meals Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday too. Most of the time we'll have some leftovers though, so we just kind of plan for 5 meals and go from there and eat leftovers. So what are we going to eat for lunch and breakfast, lunch, and dinner? We kind of plan that out. So when the day gets busy and we're like, oh, it's whatever Wednesday and we're hungry, we're tired. Okay, here's the meal plan that we already have in place. We know we have this whatever ground chicken that we have made already that we're going to combine with this. And we have some easier nights. We have some more complicated nights as far as like cooking versus like preparation. And we just have that all planned out so we don't have to think about it. That way, when we go to the grocery store, We know what we have to get, so it's less mental energy. We have a list that we're going in, so we're not getting extra stuff that we don't need. And then we do keep a lot of things visible for us. What you see and your brain perceives a lot is what you're going to do most. If you see that candy bar sitting on the counter and you keep seeing it, it's in the back of your mind. You have to keep healthy things in front of you if you want to succeed at this. Your environment is more powerful than your willpower. And this is what we were just touching on. Many daily choices are influenced by what you see, smell, and can easily access. If cookies are on the counter, you think about cookies. Fresh fruit is washed and sitting in a bowl, you're far more likely to reach for it. One of the best examples I can give you for this is I have some people that work at a bank and they're constantly eating candy because it's out. They have a bowl of candy out. And so what do you think you're thinking about all day when I'm getting a little hungry. I'll just grab this, what's easily accessible, right? Less decision fatigue to grab that than to prepare and just bring something with you. But how do you shift that? One, what's your inner identity? Who are we trying to become? What is our goals? And making your identity fluent with that. So ask yourself, what does your environment encourage? What does my kitchen encourage? What does my pantry reward? What does my refrigerator advertise? What you permit, you promote, right? Your home teaches your family what normal looks like. That's super, super important. When we're trying to affect our family and what they are into and what they eat, you have to show them you do it as well. Sometimes you're the first one that needs to change for them to start changing. And once they see you doing it, a lot of times they start to do it too. And the behavioral researchers found people ate significantly more candy simply because it was placed closer to them. The easier something is to access, the more likely we are to consume it, right? My bank analogy for you there too. But if it's out, you're going to eat it. Identity beats motivation. Who do you want to be? I'm trying to eat healthier versus I'm someone who nourishes my body well. I'm trying to exercise. I'm someone who moves because I value my health. On those hard days when it's hard to get up and work out, I tell myself I'm someone who exercises because exercise is who I am. So it is part of my health. That's how I am consistent. It's because it's who I am, right? So if I'm a little more tired, I still go and exercise. That's who I am. Every action is a vote. Each healthy meal, every walk, every glass of water, every consistent bedtime. These votes for the person you're becoming, right? So research in psychology shows that identity consistent behaviors are far more likely to become lasting habits than those driven by external goals alone. What is that telling us? What we're consistent in and day out, that's what's going to become who we are. That's who our identity is going to become. So who do I want to become? What small action would that person take today? This is another way of looking at it. Getting your identity in line with who you're becoming and changing that mindset and how we talk about it is super, super important. The all or nothing mindset. We've touched on this before, but this is really, really important. One of the greatest barriers to long-term success isn't a lack of knowledge. It's perfectionism. It's this all or nothing mentality. I already ate pizza. Today's ruined. The rest of the day is ruined. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Right? This thinking turns one imperfect decision into multiple decisions. So our body, our responses are not going to be affected by one thing, right? Consistency over time. Are you consistently eating one bad thing that leads to 12 other bad decisions, right? Are you constantly just snacking on things you shouldn't be because they're right in front of you? That consistency over time, that identity is what we're trying to shift. If you got one flat tire, would you slash the other three? Of course not, right? One meal never determines your health. The patterns do. If you get a flat tire, don't slash your other three, right? Let's change that mindset. The new rule is never miss twice. One meal, one workout, one day, and simply return to your routine. Self-compassion, not self-criticism, is what brings people back. Today was the perfect example for me. We were out late. We went to the carnival with the kids and we were out late. I didn't work out this morning. It's not normal for me. But I'll do something today that usually is more activity for myself. So I get some sort of exercise in, but guess what? Tomorrow, right back at it. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Start back tomorrow, right? Why one flex meal isn't the problem. This is kind of what we were talking about too. You just don't want to go off on the deep end. That usually leads to weeks, not months of repercussions. Your body's incredibly resilient. One meal isn't going to create disease, but a lot of meals consistently can. right? Just like one salad isn't going to create health, one workout isn't going to create muscles. Consistency over time, it does. Bodies respond to repeated patterns over months and years, not a single moment. Just keep this in mind when you're going through life. It's not that one meal that's going to kill you. It's, did I do this today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day? So think of it like a retirement account. I like this. We try to put money away and we're not thinking about that retirement account, right? But over time it's growing and growing and growing and growing, that compounding interest. If we do something consistently, like we put money into our retirement every month, that's consistently building over time. Your health is very much like that. Every nutritious meal is going into that retirement account, that small deposit towards long-term health. Every walk, every quality sleep, every exercise, every time we take a moment and breathe, all this stuff is adding to that retirement account in that health world, right? Every time we talk to ourselves in a better manner, better language, words shape mindset. It's not a cheat meal from your vocabulary, right? Get that out of there. You're not cheating, you're living life. The goal is flexibility, not perfection. And I always tell myself whenever I go out and eat and it's something that's particularly not on my normal, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it. We're in this environment. I know it's not normal for me. And after this, I'll just get back on my normal, normal habitual eating pattern. Don't be restrictive to yourself, but also caution to the wind. Most of my clients that I come in, they know if they respond to certain things negatively. I stay gluten-free when I go out of town. There's other things I might indulge in, but I know that one bothers me, so I stay away from it. If you know something bothers you, that's different, right? That's different kind of language. Indulge to the point of like, hey, this is outside my norm, but it's not really causing a ton of inflammation in me. So everyone knows their body a little bit different, but still listen to your body. Building systems is going to be motivation. We will fall to our lowest system or highest system depending on how tired we are, right? That's going into the auto. Motivation is emotional. Systems are dependable. Healthy people don't necessarily have more discipline. They've simply built routines that reduce friction and in decision fatigue and make healthy choices automatic, right? They're just an auto response to their daily decisions. So one of the things I do is lay out clothes the night before. It's one less decision I have to make. It's an easy thing to do. I lay out I know where my shoes are. I know where my exercise clothes are, my work clothes for the next day. That's not a decision that I need to make in the morning. I'm not running around trying to find different things. I know that that's already there. I usually have a routine before the gym. I make sure my water's in the same spot. I usually get up and drink water. It's one thing, less thing I have to think about in the morning. I have like a little pre-workout routine. That's all in the same spot every morning. I make sure the night before that's all in the same spot. If I go out of town, a lot of these things is what's I'm bringing with me. This is what's coming with me because that's part of my routine. If I go out of town, I take workout clothes because that's part of my identity. I'm going to exercise. I enjoy doing it, and it's a part of who I am. And so I bring workout clothes. And guess what? I set those things out the night before. I make sure I have workout clothes. Sometimes my workouts look a lot different, but I exercise, right? Keep your water bottle filled and visible. If I go out of town, I take a water bottle with me. If not, water's pretty easy to access. And so I make sure I try to keep my water intake about the same wherever I go. Supplements. Sometimes placing supplements by a toothbrush is okay. It's so much of a habit for me that I know I go in the same spot. I take the supplements. I have a routine of taking my supplements where whatever I need to take at lunch, I set out. And then if I take stuff morning, noon, or evening, depending on what they are, I usually just have them in a spot to where I see them and then I remember to take them. Wash produce immediately after grocery shopping. This is a good one if you like to soak it in baking soda. Great way to get pesticides off of things. We try to buy organic, but they're still going to spray some stuff on there. So pesticides, baking soda has been shown to take a lot of that off the surface of that fruit or vegetable. Prep tomorrow's lunch before bed, or just food in general. Know what you're going to eat. I tend to have either leftovers or we kind of have plans for what is for lunch. And then dinner, like I said, we have 5 different things for the dinners, and we usually check those off as the week go by. If we have a little extra time and we feel like it, oh, we're going to make this one tonight. Oh, we're kind of not really feeling like doing anything. We're going to do this one tonight because it's easier. So we just have 5 different kind of things that we come up with on Saturday or Sunday. And then that's what we shop for the grocery for the week. And then that's what we pick for them. Habit formation takes 18 to 254 days, averaging about 66 days. Consistency matters far more than speed. Just stay consistent. Sometimes it can take some time when you're really building that habit up for the first time. Just stay consistent with it day in and day out. That's what's going to matter the most. Our food system in the US, the highly processed foods, not super great for us. They're really designed to have a high dopamine rush associated with them so that you keep coming back for more. Our brains evolved in a world where food was scarce. Food manufacturers today intentionally engineered sugar, refined starches, fat, salt, and flavor enhancers into combinations that produced outside reward responses. So you're getting too much dopamine when we eat here. That was never meant to happen in nature. Dopamine isn't just a pleasure chemical. It drives motivation, anticipation, and reinforcement. When something produces a strong response, the brain remembers it and increases the desire to seek it again. Over time, processed food can make naturally sweet food seem less satisfying because it's just not as stimulatory as some of these processed foods. One example that I give is, if you guys like to read, The Dorito Effect is a really cool book about this topic, but it's talking about natural and artificial sweeteners. And so if you eat something that's strawberry flavored, what's going into your mouth and into your stomach is different than what your brain is perceiving is coming into your mouth and your stomach. The flavor of a strawberry is there, but you're not getting the same nutrient content that you would with a strawberry. What is that doing to our system? We don't really know yet as far as that goes. But when you get a really, really strong sensation for like strawberry, for example, when you actually eat a strawberry, that doesn't have like that flavor enhancement to it. You might get less of that satisfaction with that. And so your brain's remarkably adaptable though. So as you eat processed foods less and less and start eating whole foods more common, your body will adapt back to normally how those taste preferences used to be. So fruit tastes noticeably sweeter. And I've seen this time and time again when we take people off of processed food. The first couple of weeks is pretty tough getting off of that because you're so stimulated, overstimulated. But after you start adapting, the fruit and vegetables taste a ton better because you're getting those natural sweetness and natural bitters that come with some of these things. And then cravings significantly decrease. Energy becomes steadier throughout the day. Hunger cues start to be a little bit better. You're getting that fiber and different signaling into the gut, which is super, super great. Processed foods, kick them out of here. Get to the whole foods. That's where it's at. And then let's build habits that fit our real life. There's always going to be busy seasons. There's always going to be holidays. There's going to be birthdays. There's going to be travel. There's going to be sick kiddos, long work days. So we got to plan for that, right? Your body, you'll fall back to your lowest system, right? So let's build a system that helps in these seasons of life. If you plan health only for only what works on perfect days, it's probably not going to be sustainable, right? It needs to be able to survive these full ranges of real life. We got to just figure out, well, what's going to happen when we travel. My favorite thing to do here is start with some non-negotiables. Pick one thing when you travel, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. That identity shift, right? This is who I am. I'm going to exercise every day that I go. It might look different every day, but I'm going to exercise. Or I'm going to, if I eat one bad meal, it's not going to transition to every bad meal. Pick what you're going to do. When the kids are sick, so sometimes it's easy to have some freezer meals prepared that you can just thaw and make where you don't have to have any decision with that. That's super great. Stressful weeks, have some easier meals planned out. Sometimes leftovers. Plan to cook a little bit more one day, and you can have that on one of those stressful days. Same thing with long work days. Like, plan some of those days out where you might have some leftovers instead of having to make something, or plan on making something that's pretty easy and simple to make. So back to those small habits consistently. Once you do this once, your brain's like, oh, that wasn't so bad, right? So you had a stressful work day. You come home and you make dinner and you're like, oh, that wasn't so hard, right? And then you get to eat, go on to the next day. Next time you do that, a little bit easier. And you should keep stacking on that. And it becomes a habit. Your family's watching, right? Children learn more from what we repeatedly do than from what we repeatedly say. Show them how to do this properly. Every grocery trip, every family meal, walk after dinner in response to stress quietly shapes the next generation's relationship with their health. And so, yeah, sorry, this picture I just noticed right here. I kind of want to change that now. What they're learning, every health routine you model, even imperfect one, teaches children that the healthy habits are simply what your family does. So one of the things that I tell my kids is we're good at doing hard things because I want to instill in them, like, when something gets hard, I don't want to just shy away from it. I want to learn how to do it. And so once you do those hard things repetitively, they're not hard anymore, right? The greatest gift we can give them isn't perfection. It's a home where healthy habits feel normal. They're automatic, they're repeatable. So what does that look like? Yeah, food on the counter, walks happen, meals shared, healthy habits. Cooking with them, super huge. They see us prepare every week. I have a whiteboard at home that I write on week in and week out. Hey, here's what we're going to do today. And I'll put, like, we have to clean and tidy up. We have to sweep the floor, or I'll put family fun on there. And I don't define what that is, but we're going to have fun as a family. We'll do like a movie night. I'll just write out what needs to happen, meal plans on there if it's Saturday or Sunday. I'll write out, like, hey, here's the things that we need to get done today and the things that we're going to do. And then we do them as a family. Sometimes the cleaning goes back to the last thing on the list. And then we're like, all right, let's work as a team, spend 15 minutes and you can get a lot done. But show them that this is a normal, healthy habit. All right. So what's our weekly challenge? Choose one habit to practice every single day this week. Morning hydration. I love that one. Protein at breakfast, 20, 30 grams. Or if you intermittent fast, maybe lunch, making sure you're getting enough protein. Walking 10 minutes after you eat, super great. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All of those are great. Sunday veggie prep, or I would just even challenge you to Sunday meal prep, right? Doesn't have to cook all the foods, but plan out what you're going to eat. Visible fruit, or maybe there's something you need to take away from your visibility as well. That would be a good one too. Screen-free wind down. Read for 15 minutes before bed instead of scrolling. That's a big one too. Light entering the eyes at night can disrupt your circadian rhythm. So try to pick something to work on. Pick an identity shift that's resonating with you. Success isn't measured by doing everything. It's measured by consistently doing something. You don't need a completely different life to become healthier. You simply need to become the kind of person who keeps showing up, even when life isn't perfect. Progress over perfection, systems over motivation. That one's huge. Consistency over intensity. Small wins daily. Go back and celebrate some wins. What did you do today, yesterday, that was something that you haven't done? Celebrate it. The life you want isn't built during moments of extraordinary motivation. It's built through extraordinary choices repeated over and over again. Pick some things to be consistent on. What are some of your goals that can flourish with that identity? And come up with some things that you can work on. Be consistent at them, even on the hard days. All right, guys. Go out and make some healthy habits stick, all right? Let me know how it goes. Have a great day.